This program is sponsored by Dave Stall.
All right, folks. Welcome to YAK Radio with Dave Stall, FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. We have guests in the house, but first, San Diego Gear and Axle. Unbelievable undercarriage, folks. Anytime you need any kind of work at all, you need to give Steve a call or just go to sdgearaxle.com. This show is brought to you by Southwest Point of Sale. If you've got a grocery store, liquor store, some small business, and you're having a hard time with cashiers, check out Southwest Point of Sale. They'll come out to your location, and if it works, they'll hook you up for the price of a cash register. 800-540-2149. Well, young lady, what have you done today?
Oh, the house is filled.
Yeah, what are we gonna title this one?
It's going to have 3 P's in it. I will get to that in just a sec because I just learned the actual title of this sport. So I would imagine the reason I brought this to you is we are sandwiched. This show is sandwiched in between the Off-Road Coalition and Racer Radio.
Yes.
So I would imagine that some of the YAK Radio listeners are adrenaline junkies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so the guest that's immediately to my left is going to educate all of us. I don't know much about this sport. And I think he's going to introduce us to a sport that is pretty affordable, I would imagine.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
So please welcome. He's a good husband. He's a great father. He's a friendly neighbor. And he is a powered
Stop. Would you like to introduce the sport we're talking about?
Wait, I got it.
We worked on this before.
I know. You
'Cause
practiced.
I was calling it the wrong thing the whole time, even to you.
Oh, yeah?
It's a powered paraglider
There you
pilot.
go.
That's what he
okay.
is. So please welcome Matt Pesce and his beautiful ladies, Janessa, Nara, and Vena. They're all in the house
thank you
with
so
us.
much.
Great names. I mean, you guys get a plus just for naming
Oh,
kids.
they have a good meaning, too, if we want to get there
Well,
later.
we'll get down there down the road.
Yeah.
All right. So let me be the dummy of the room. Also, an adrenaline junkie. It's like, how old do you think you would be if you didn't know how old you were today?
Right.
Well, I'm 77 that thinks 18.
Oh.
Okay. See, so if you said to me, hey, Dave, I'll meet you on top of this mountain.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance I'd probably go with you. My body, on the other hand, would say, are you out of your freaking mind?
Yeah, for the landings. That's
So tell the people, what is this? And now when you say sport, is there competition as well?
There are.
So let's go to A. What
is it? Paint
What
a
is it?
picture.
Paint a picture. So if you've ever been to Torrey Pines and you see the gliders
Gotcha.
off the cliffs there, basically that, but we also have motors.
Okay.
So we basically strap 2-cycle engines to our backs with propellers, and the propeller gives us lift, so we're able to fly.
It looks like a shop fan on steroids.
Basically, yeah. It's we have 2-stroke motors. Some people have 4 strokes, mainly 2 strokes here in the U.S. But
Yeah. Controllable.
the throttle's controllable.
Throttle, yes.
And then you steer with your arms using brake toggles from the glider above you.
So if you say that the motors give you lift, can you just start on flat land? Is that
Generally, that's what we do. So unlike paragliders,
plus out there's a lot of wind too.
right? So we're kind of the inverse of paragliding. Paragliding, they like thermals, they like a lot of wind, and they need cliffs and things like that. We're the opposite. We like flat land. We like very little wind. So that's why we generally are in the mornings and in the evenings, because we don't like thermal activity.
Yeah.
So
Is it because you feel like you have less control? Why don't you?
It's because we don't need that wind
You just
for
don't
lift.
need
We
it.
have the motor, so why go through all these bumps and things like that if
And
you
it's
don't have
just
to?
another
It's another
thing
variable.
you have to think about. You
Right,
don't need to think
right,
about. I'm
exactly.
right there with you. I'll never hot air balloon again in the evening. Okay.
Wow.
Dumped us out of the gondola.
Oh,
rolling
and
across.
the landings.
Well,
yes.
it's because we did it in the evening coming out of Del Mar. If you're going to do it right, you do it early in the morning when there's really nothing going on.
Okay, just the timing. Steve sent me this from the golf. A balloon crashed at the golf course
See?
where he was playing yesterday.
Yeah. So, which brings up, that's a balloon. You're not.
Right.
What is can you go left? Can you go right?
Yeah, up, down, left, right.
Okay, so you
some,
have
some
control.
people go
Left, right.
loop-de-loop. Some
Yeah,
people.
you know, there's
But not
that
me.
would be Britney. She
Not
would
me.
be the loop-de-loop.
Yeah, not on purpose.
Okay. So
Right.
whip this over here to this lovely lady.
Oh, okay.
Come on a little closer.
Okay.
It won't bite you.
Sorry, Jennifer.
And I didn't catch your name because she just rattled them off, and I don't know who's who. But you are.
Janessa.
All right. So you're the one that actually does this sport.
No.
No? Oh, I thought he was just, selling them. No. Have you ever, in your mind, thought that this would be something you'd want to do?
No.
Yeah, me either. It's like I would never jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Oh, he says that all the time.
Not in a million
I'll probably
years.
be going again in June, Dave, just so you know.
Yeah. So you're not the adrenaline junkie in the
Not at
family.
all.
You're the glue,
Yeah, maybe.
trying to keep him glued down.
Yeah.
and-
She's the avid reader like you, Dave. She's an avid reader.
Oh, yeah. Don't you love it?
I do.
I mean, she'll say, "Hey, Dave, let's go to lunch." And if I'm in a really good book, nah, I got a meeting.
busy.
I'm not
I got
going
a
to be
car
able to
review.
make. I'm serious, and I take my books everywhere. I read average. All right, throw this one to this young man. Oh, but you can't shake your head. Shaking heads don't work on. Oh, just tell me what your name is. Come on, just give me your name. All right, now let me ask you this: would you want to do what your dad does? No, you can't hear that.
Maybe.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a maybe, and I guess the only reason I'm saying that is, have you gone out with your dad when he's doing it?
Yes.
Have you? Can we? Hey, Brendan. Oh, Brendan. He's not in there. Try that microphone right there. Can you talk? What's your name?
My name is Nara.
Oh, I like that name. Okay, so we'll talk about that too. Do you want to do what your dad's doing?
No.
No.
I'd rather skydive.
Oh.
Okay.
Did you know that, Mom? She
Yeah,
did.
she
Mom
knew that.
did know.
This poor
Okay.
woman.
Yeah.
What does she have to go through?
Oh, wow.
So,
I did
so
not
is it
expect
because
that.
you go out there with your dad and he's doing his thing, but then you're watching the other ones, and that's kind of where you wanted
Yeah,
to?
where did that come from? Why would you even?
I've watched people before do it,
Yeah.
like on TV and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which one of you is the basketball player?
We're both.
Oh, both are basketball. Yeah, they're
All right,
and
now-
who had the broken arm?
Me.
Oh,
Ow.
and we're all good now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are you? Is she the daredevil? Is Nara the daredevil? One of them rides their bike
They all-
way ahead of
Look
the
at
rest
this.
of you.
We're getting these conflicting out of a guy that jumps.
Well, he doesn't think really it's a daredevil. It's just
Well, Mom would know if they thought it was a daredevil because, oh my gosh. All right, now that we know that, pull that over there to you. Okay. Again, what was your name?
Thana.
Oh. Okay,
That was an
medics come in.
accident. That's
Did you
okay.
see- she did that on
My
purpose.
little Mikey just did that to me today.
Did he
Split
really?
my lip. Yeah.
Ow. All right, I'm sorry. Your name?
Thana.
All right, very good. So, like you said, you were kind of saying, "Oh yeah, I don't want to do it." Then, is it because you just feel like you need to be older? Because I think the fan weighs more than you, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Do you want to do like your sister?
Skydive?
Yeah. No. So you want to stay on the ground with me? Because that's perfectly where I'll be. We'll sit on the bench and just
We'll
watch them.
We'll have a picnic and watch.
Brittany will go with you though.
That
Duh.
looks really fun. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
So
duh.
for our listeners, is there like a starter pack? Like you need 5,000 to start, or what? What do you? think?
Yeah, it's a little more than that, but probably about 10,000 for the equipment, and then a couple thousand for training, which is highly recommended, although not required.
Oh no! But it. Oh,
Wow.
Is that the dumbest thing
Wow.
in the world?
It is.
Wow.
It's like
most people get training.
It's like giving a 90-year-old man a 45-foot RV and go have a good
Go have a good
time.
time.
Yeah. Well, I can't help but think a few weeks ago we were talking about the owner of the guy that does the glam and glitz of the razors, the side-by-sides.
Oh,
and how
yeah.
we were talking about why isn't
Oh,
there
yeah.
mandatory training
Yeah,
for these people who are going
Going to the
way
desert.
too fast,
of
driving
course,
over
yeah.
their
Yeah.
head.
You see a lot of the burnt out razors.
Oh.
out in
Yeah. Oh,
Glamis
my
and-
gosh.
Yeah.
It's been there, done that.
Done it, yeah.
So,
Okay, not mandatory, highly required training.
right.
And is there safety equipment? I know we have to go to a commercial break soon. Is there safety? Like, do you have to wear a helmet?
You don't have to, but all
Yeah.
people do. And there's also a reserve parachute as well.
Oh,
I
see,
was going
that's-
to, but that probably took a while before that came into.
Oh, there's been growing pains in the years of the
Yeah.
sport. for
Yeah,
sure.
well, just like any sport.
Of
When
course.
especially, can you imagine the very first guy that did this?
Oh boy,
Went to
it's
Home,
on YouTube.
Went to Home Depot. Went to Home Depot.
right,
got
yeah.
a fan. Oh, I can't even think. Gas can on top, to power this thing. But hey, and we could talk about it all day long. But until you've done it, you can't explain it.
True, absolutely. It's
Until
definitely-
you've been flying out over the coast,
Right.
or wherever you were going, You can't explain it. You can do it all day long. It's like we tell people, until you've driven a race car, you don't know
It's not the
what
same as
driving
driving
a
to
race
school
car.
and back.
It's not driving anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. So let's take a break. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is YAK Radio with Dave Stall, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Very good. She's
She's
a
a
star.
natural.
She is a star, brought to you by South Bay Auto House. Got a Mercedes-Benz. You're looking for a dealer alternative? Well, you can't be South Bay Auto House. Factory-trained technicians for 25 years. They got all parts and pieces in-house. They'll even buy your Mercedes. If you're going to trade it in, give them a shot. You might be impressed. That's South Bay Auto House. Check them out at southbayautohouse.com. And Bumper Dock Santee, scratches, dings, and dents. Got a lease return? Make sure you get that thing taken care of before you send it back, because you'll pay full retail. Windshield repair, tint, windows, body work, SanteeBumperDock.com. Check them out. Yes.
I would love to hear about this festival you went to.
Yeah, the Salton Sea flying or gathering. Yeah, early February. So the Salton Sea, you guys probably know it. Out east.
It's a
big body
lake.
of water, big lake, and it's great for what we do because of the way the wind blows in that general area. So every February, generally there's a big gathering, 300-400 pilots from all over the country.
400, right?
Wow.
All
When
over the
he
country,
told-
actually all over the world. There were people there from France, Spain.
Oh.
So they, it was early February, and it was a great time. People
How
were-
many went up at once? Oh, gosh,
so the
there's
best
gotta be
times to
video.
go are early in the morning or like about an hour before sunset. So that sunset flight, probably 200 or 300 people up.
Is there video of that? There's
Oh,
gotta
there's
be
gotta be.
video on
There's gotta be
YouTube.
some.
Oh,
YouTube.
absolutely.
What's
yeah.
it sound like? A
It's a
hornet?
like a hornet's nest. Right? It's, 200 or 300 two-stroke engine.
What are the what's the most popular power plant?
Vittorazzi, 185 cc. So
Okay.
it's a Italian engine. So most of the engines in this sport are made in either Italy, some in Spain, but there are not many made in the U.S.
You
Probably
mean
because it's
Honda's
a-
not up there?
No,
Yamaha,
Honda's not,
Kawasaki.
nothing. No, it's all mainly Italian, which most people would kind of turn their nose up maybe at Italian
Where'd
engines.
the, where'd
Not
the
the
sports
Ducati riders.
did the sports start?
So
Over there?
the roots you could kind of go back to mainly France and Spain.
Okay,
And then Italy.
so that's where the engine technology started.
Right. They actually Vittorazzi, they make a lot of motorbike engines like
Okay.
mopeds and everything else, and they just kind of get into it. And
Which is all they've done is they just figured out a way to put a
different carburetor
and a blade on the shaft and
exactly.
Yeah.
So personally,
transmission or just one speed.
no. So mine's it doesn't have a transmission, but it does have a reduction drive on
Okay.
it. So it's mine's 80 cc's because I'm lighter. Don't need all that power. So I carry less gas, less weight. It's all the lighter you can make it, the better experience. Most
Did you see
people
her
have.
twist her nose when you said less power?
Oh, no, it wasn't that. No, I thought that was a good point. You're not huge.
I
You're
know.
Not,
Yeah.
I was just giving you a hard
So
time.
I thought-
because you're all
right.
about the power. Yeah, exactly.
V8. No, but I thought that was a good point. So for our listeners, so you've said it's about $10,000 to get in.
Yep,
You should
that's a good
probably
good
do
round
training.
number.
It's not required.
Yeah, you should be willing to put about 13,000 in.
Okay.
Up front.
You don't need a trailer. He just
No,
what's this little
it's
car
it's in
you
the back
have?
of my Mazda 3.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I did have a hitch trailer on the back, and then a cargo carrier, and plop it on, put some straps on it, and
It
drive
seems
away.
easy.
And I could
zoom,
fit it in the
zoom.
back of the car if I wanted, but it's just easier to carry it.
Yeah.
On the
You
back.
put it on a roof rack?
You could if you broke it down.
Do you have it in the trunk?
I could have it in the trunk.
So it's on a trailer.
I have it on the back of like a cargo carrier.
Oh, one of
it's
those.
a freestanding
Like
one.
if
Gotcha.
someone had an
Yeah.
electric
wheelchair.
wheelchair or something.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
it looks just
exactly,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We're always looking for the different ways of
Getting it around.
Getting it
And
around.
it weighs about 50 pounds.
Oh my
That's it?
gosh, that's all?
Yeah, 50
Holy
pounds. So
cow.
a lot of
Light-
people ask, like, could I do it? And then a lot of the easy answer is, if you think you could run with 40 to 50 pounds on your back, 50 yards, then you probably have enough strength to what I do is called foot launching. But there's another side to the coin, wheel launching. The same thing, except you're sitting in a cart basically, And it's the exact same thing, except you need a little more runway because it takes a little longer to get off. But if you are unable to handle that kind of physical activity, you can still do it. It's just in a different way. So
Wait, do you take the cart with you, or do you come
break
out of
down.
it?
No. You stay in it. So you take off in it and you land in it. So it's
Yeah.
basically like landing on wheels.
Is that what you do?
No. So
you-
I foot launch.
He's-
So I take off on my feet and I land on my feet.
Do you take your feet and tuck them in that little canvas bag behind you?
Oh, yeah, do
Some
they
people do. I
dangle?
don't. I mean, that's for aerodynamics. I'm not into
Okay.
speed, but
But
So they just
as
dangle?
light as you
yeah, they
are,
just dangle. Yeah.
but as light as you are, you could from a maneuverability standpoint.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, do you have races?
No. Ours. Anytime I fly, it's
More than
sight-
one
it's si-
person
it's
involved,
sightseeing.
and there's no racing.
There's
That's
no racing.
very
Yeah.
hard to
That's
believe.
two.
What's
That's
interesting
two
is-
marks against you. You only got one more coming, so I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, the people that race these have much different
Oh,
setups.
there are races. I'm sorry.
They
I
are-
thought
oh,
you-
there
I
are very
misunderstood.
serious
Okay, so now
races.
you're only down to
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, there are
There
races.
are races. It makes
Yeah.
sense if there's more than one person.
Yeah.
It's going to turn into
Well,
a
Well, in
race.
some way, somehow. So, just because I used to be a service manager, from a mechanical repair,
Yeah.
maintenance point of
Yeah, I
view,
wanted to go there.
pretty inexpensive. I mean,
Pretty
it is-
inexpensive,
It
yeah.
is Italian. I mean,
It is, and it's one of these things. Is if it breaks down, it's just not leaving you stranded on the road. It's
Well,
you're
that's
up in the
true.
air, so
And the
you do
glider.
want
Oh,
to.
God,
The
it's
gliders
unsafe.
really keeps you safe and up in the air, and
Yeah.
that So from getting into the sport, you do have to. If you don't have any sort of mechanical aptitude, it is something you will learn, and it's not hard.
But you want to make some
two-stroke engines.
friends down on the ground.
Absolutely, and there's no. You can't take it to a shop. People don't work on these,
Yeah.
so you have to learn how to
They
do
just
it.
look at you and they go,
Like,
"Well,
yeah,
So
we're not
there
gonna
isn't
touch
even
that.
because I laugh because there's no dwarf car shop.
Well,
but there
Right.
are a few people who specialize. Is there anybody that's
You join a
specializing
group,
in
and I'm a
San
part of a
Diego?
group of about 15, 20 people that we all help each other, and and there's actually YouTube is a great resource.
Isn't it amazing?
Someone's always done it.
Yeah.
If you're
Or
trying to do
tried
something.
it
or tried it
and said not to do it.
or
Yeah.
not right.
This doesn't work. Don't even bother. No, it's only because you and everybody that gets into a sport that has anything mechanical,
Right.
they'll learn it. Otherwise, they
Absolutely.
won't stay in the sport.
Right. You get fed up with it. And,
So the reservation would be, but I don't want something to happen when I'm mid-air. But then
Right.
the glide, the
Well,
parachute
this is
part
what
of
I
it
was-
makes it seem so much safer.
right. So if your motor
Do you really
does that,
need the motor? I mean, seriously, when you
once you're up, you could if you
just shut the motor off and
you could
glide.
shut the motor and you glide down. I
Yeah.
mean, it won't you won't stay
you're
up.
not dropping.
But as long as you fly over somewhere where you could land, and that's what a good pilot always does, is
Mm-hmm.
never fly over something where if you did lose the engine now, you would be unsafe.
Yeah, just think it's going to be your luck. Just,
Right.
It'll be your
Right,
luck.
yeah. Just always
The
His
minute
wife
you
is
fly over
listening.
the air base,
Right.
your
Yeah,
motor
right.
quits, or
Right.
the White House.
Yeah.
I mean, what a
Right.
hell of a time
It's
for
not
that
if
to
it's
go.
going to fail, it's when.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Well, and so can you get insurance on this? I'm just
On the motor itself?
or how about you?
No. So actually, if you are injured, your health insurance,
Okay.
there are people that fly in pretty remote areas will generally they can buy a subscription to like a life flight service because
that is the best
Yeah.
deal in
Oh.
town.
AirMed Network, I think is one of
Pyramid
them.
or something. They go
Yeah.
out to check this out. It's like $180 a year,
Right.
Oh, wow.
and one flight is
Yeah.
almost 20 grand. now.
Oh, easily,
so it's
easily.
whether you think you're going to get hurt,
Right.
because you never know. So how long you been doing it?
It'll be 4 years come May.
4 years. So
what got
you into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We do this too much. I can tell.
I got my private pilot's license years ago, and was doing that a little bit, and it just got expensive, very
Yeah.
expensive. And so I just didn't do it much. And with aviation, it's one of these things where if you don't do it enough and stay current, then you're unsafe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
just,
right.
So as a private pilot, I was always on the edge of just barely proficient, and that's just not a place to be. So YouTube knows your life, and it recommended a video to me years ago, and I said you should watch this because I was
Really?
watching airplane
that's
videos.
funny.
Gotcha.
And then it's like, oh, click, and the rest is history. And then,
Yeah, rest is history.
I had kind of forgotten about it. And one day I was going to get my hair cut, and lo and behold, as I'm walking up to the barber shop, out in front of the barber shop, it's in like a strip mall. There's a powered paraglider sitting on the sidewalk out in front of the
What?
shop. It was someone in there getting their
Getting his
haircut,
haircut.
and they didn't want it in the back of their car. Maybe they were parked far away.
Yeah.
And so I go in and I'm trying to scope out the person.
Yeah, who would
right?
do
Who is it? So I
that?
just sit there quietly looking around. And I see, like a 20-something, guy. Looks. I'm like, oh, is that yours? And he looks at me, no. And then all of a sudden I hear, that's mine. And I look, and this person was probably mid to late 50s. And I'm like, oh, okay. And we got talking, and then he told me who his instructor was. And actually 2 weeks later was that big fly-in out in Salton Sea. So it was a perfect time. I went out, checked it out, and
that was the end
Did
of it.
you take the family? Did the family know about this, or were you hiding it from them?
Janessa knew about it, but probably thought it was going to be
another one of your ideas.
Yeah, one and done.
It'll just blow away. We just won't pay any attention to it.
So that was it.
Wow,
got training and been doing it.
How often do you go out?
Every week if I can. So sometimes.
Because it's affordable.
It's affordable. Yeah, I'd say the average cost.
Your car
if you were to round it all up, it's about $25 to $30 an hour. For gas, maintenance.
How much does it cost for the airplane?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about $150 an hour. So,
if not more.
If not more.
Yeah,
with insurance and everything else. Yeah.
Do you go over it, everything, like the pilots do over their planes before you go up?
Maybe
each
not
time?
every flight, but very often. And then there's maintenance schedules every 25 hours, every 50, every 100. There's different things you change.
And that's the main
check.
thing.
Yeah, checking it, maintenance, preventative maintenance is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that comes from being a pilot.
Right.
Because he's just piloling something that's
Different,
a little stranger than what.
Well, I agree in the race with the car, too.
But I know you would
Prevention.
do that. I know you would do that.
Yeah.
Because that
Preparation is
show
the
your
separation.
mom. She'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
She certainly wouldn't shy from it.
Did she just have a birthday?
Yeah, she just turned 70 years young.
So happy birthday.
Yeah. Yes.
Just want to throw that out.
She's got so
there.
many horses. I think she's got
way
plenty to occupy her
She has
time.
way too many horses. All right. So, all right. Going to take a break, but where do you buy this stuff? Hold that
Get
thought.
ready for that.
We'll do that when we come back. Because,
how do you get
I looked
started
at Walmart.
logistically?
I went to Walmart.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to KCBQ AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. You are listening to YAK Radio with Dave Stall, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The answer. All right, hey, John's Automotive Repair, Napa Auto Care, AST certified, AAA approved. John will take care of you. Did that door close? Happens all the time. All right, so we are sitting here talking about a sport called
powered paragliding, also known as paramotoring.
Paramotoring, okay, and multiple motors or different styles of motors,
Different types, sizes mainly.
fan on the back, attached to a 2-stroke or 4-stroke.
2-stroke or 4-stroke, and actually electric's coming on the scene, but right now the battery density is not high enough. It's good for short flights, but
What was that? Oh, that was electric.
Where's the charging station?
Yeah. Easy. Where's my extension cord when you need it? But so from a sport point of view, you have more in your dwarf car than
you're
he
talking
has.
money right now?
Yeah, than he has in his system.
Well, I know, because I was thinking starter, and I thought of the Sport Compact.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying, so it's almost if you're looking for adrenaline, and the most probably, like I said, we know you can't talk about what it's really like until you've actually experienced it, but it's got to be just breathtaking.
Yeah, I think
Is
it's
it
kind
like
of a
flying?
spectrum. It's flying, and it's as much adrenaline as you want, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like for
that
me,
makes
it's
sense.
not. It's more of a pleasurable experience, and you hope a lot of people would rather not have adrenaline rushes while they're doing it, because that means usually something's going wrong.
That's true.
Whereas there are people that do it, and they're up doing loop-de-loops, and I'm sure that gets their. It's kind of
to whatever level you want.
It's choose your own adventure in some respects.
Yeah.
The uniqueness, I would think, would help with the bond of the other people who do it. Is there a social aspect to it? Could
No,
there be a
absolutely.
social aspect to it? Because
Absolutely. Yeah, because it is unique. Yeah, they all walks. Like in our group, I said about 15, 20 people. There's people as old as early 70s to as young as late 20s, early 30s, and all different financial backgrounds
Sure.
and different.
Every
Because it is
nationality on the
accessory.
planet.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is kind of spans.
So what's the FAA say about you?
So the FAA, we are a regulated activity like airplanes and everything else. We fall under, I don't know if everybody ever seen the stack of regulations for the FAA.
You're in there?
The FARs, it's about a 3-inch
Looks
book.
thick.
And we're a couple pages in there, part 103, which governs ultralight vehicles, which is what we are. We
All right,
fall
yeah.
just like a powered hang glider or
Right.
So
Thank
we're an
goodness they
ultralight
had
vehicle.
a spot for you.
We had a spot, but we don't want the spot to grow in size.
Oh, yeah, the regulation
Well, and
side of
that's,
it.
and that's being perfect, out of sight. Nobody
Yeah,
knows.
right,
out here.
right, under the
Right.
radar.
And that's the
Right.
key.
We're big enough not to matter.
Do you have a height limit? How high you can go?
Yes, I was wondering
Yeah,
that
it
too.
depends on where you're at, but generally, like the limit in uncontrolled airspace, which is where we're allowed to fly, is about 17,000 feet. We don't get that high.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that's higher.
Could you
than
buzz
I
downtown?
No, could not.
It's controlled
No, so
with-
we're not allowed to fly over congested areas. We're basically confined to open space.
Over the water?
Oh, you can fly over the water.
Can you go under the Coronado Bridge?
You could not go under the Coronado Bridge. That's Lindbergh and North Island would be pretty upset.
Oh yeah,
with that.
North,
Fire up
North
there.
Island, Matt.
So, I mean, generally you're flying
F-35.
generally flying 1,000 to 1,500, 2,000 feet.
We
And
were
then
talking-
down low as well if you want.
Yeah, oh yeah. What is your favorite?
Oh, that's some people either have one or the other. Some days it's whatever you feel like. Like I actually just flew this morning, and the air up above 700 feet was trash, so you stay low.
What makes it
And
trash? Bumpy?
Bumpy. It was just weird. It was nice and smooth down low, and then it was bumpy up top. So you stay low, and a couple feet off the ground at some points, and general.
Feet off the
Yeah. But you're not going extremely fast.
Could you go like down some canyons and
Oh yeah,
exploring? And
yeah.
that sounds
Oh,
fun.
Yeah, it's good. We do that out Salt Sea. Actually, do it lots of places, but
Palm
down low is
Springs,
fun.
is that?
Palm Springs, a little congested up there, and it gets pretty windy. But
yeah.
there's Ocotillo Wells, all in that area is really out east is you gotta kind of go east to really do this out here because
You guys were talking
gets
about
pretty
Ocotillo
congested.
Wells on
So-
the way in. I heard you guys.
And we were talking off air, which is the better show. You're always looking for launch pads.
Yeah, we're always
Let's just say
open.
a launch pad.
Yeah.
Someplace, anywhere. You don't really care if you have a couple acres of land.
Yeah, even less than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but the thing of which so people understand when you say you'd like to go to their piece of property to launch, is that we're talking footprints in the grass.
Yeah, footprints in the ground, and we're off.
Not even
and then
that
we're out.
many.
Yeah.
Not even that many, and then we're off, and,
And
we
didn't
come
you
back
used
an
to have
hour
a
or two later.
liability sheet that you guys
Yeah, so
carry?
the USPPA, which is the U.S. Powered Paragliding Association, USPPA.org.
you have an association.
We have an association. It's growing. There's a liability waiver on their website, which is for landowners, and we sign it, they sign it, and it basically alleviates liability concerns if there is that concern. If
Right.
you get hurt on their property doing something,
Yes.
it says,
Sure.
"Hey, I'm doing this under my own,
Right.
accord." And,
Crash into the
Did,
fence.
Yeah.
did you look into Camp Lockett?
we have looked into Camp Lock. Coincidentally, there was a very kind gentleman out in that area, Potrero, that I put up a Facebook post looking for areas just like we just talked about, and he responded positively and said, "Yeah, I have about 15 acres out here. If you want to take a look at it, went out and took a look, and it looks really good. So we're gonna clean that up. Hopefully, once it stops raining, clean it up, mow it down, and we'll be able to launch from there."
That sounds like a
Hey,
win-win.
that's better than renting a goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Come
go.
on.
Yeah, we'll
More
do it.
entertaining.
Do all your
Yeah, we got
That's-
plenty of equipment. We can make your property nice and smooth.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's like a racetrack, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I got 2 acres. Then you guys would come out and build
Yeah.
the track. You wouldn't have to worry about it. So, well, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it sounds pretty fun. What else might somebody who's out there listening, what might be some reservations? Did you have
I think
any
safety. No,
reservations?
absolutely. I mean, let's just face
Maybe
it. You're
Janessa
hanging
had
by
some
strings from
reservations.
what we would affectionately call a bed sheet with strings, and
Darn.
A
you know,
bed sheet with strings.
so that's mostly what people see is like you get a lot of, "Oh, you must be crazy," and it's like, well, you do a lot of driving down the 8 and.
That's even
80 miles an
crazier.
hour with
Yeah.
all the debris in the road's pretty crazy, or on a motorcycle,
So-
splitting lanes. So I think safety and, aren't you going to get, hurt or whatever? And it's statistically, statistics tell the story. And, paragliding's had a lot of statistics over decades of being a sport. And, really it's about twice or 3 times as safe as riding a motorcycle, really.
Right. So, when you look at mishaps, is it harder to get started in the sport? Is it harder to get off the ground? I mean, because you'll see some people with paraglide, with hang gliders and stuff, and they
Getting off the ground is probably, so we have what's called we talked about earlier about the best time to go, and it's generally early in the morning
Right.
when the wind is light. Well, the problem is when the wind is light, that makes it a little harder to get off the ground.
lift.
Once you're off the ground is great. So you have to. There is a technique to getting off the ground. So
But
that's
once you're off, you're off, or can you go up and all of a sudden, whoa, whatever you did wrong, and
No, generally once you're off, you're in the air as long as your motor keeps spinning, and you come back. And landing is not usually as difficult as the taking off.
Do you just kind of run along until you hit the
you
ground?
run along, and
It's like
it's basically just like if you've seen any other paraglider land or parachutist coming in from skydiving.
It's skydiving. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking about that. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's generally people's usually initial reservation is the fact
The
that
first
they get
time-
hurt. And actually, most people in the sport don't get hurt from flying. It's actually on the ground starting their motors.
really
Yeah. So what they'll, we have
pulling on the cord is
well,
the
what
old
they'll
saying.
pull on the
Blade.
cord, and then the motor goes to full power, and they can't control it, and then you have a big propeller coming at you, and your instinct is to put your hands out to stop it.
Oh.
So there's a way to prevent that,
we
though.
were
and-
almost convinced, and now we're over the cliff.
Yeah. So
I thought they had a guard around it.
there is a guard, but that guard is mainly to keep things out of the motor once you're flying, not your
Not
hands.
with your hands coming.
So an easy way to prevent that is to start it on your back. And
Okay.
a lot of people will try to cut corners, or a lot of it really starts
Cutting
with
corners.
getting to the flying field late. People get late, and then they're like, "Oh, I gotta rush," and they cut corners, and that's one of the
Okay,
corners.
so let me just bring this up because you never scuba dive alone.
Yeah.
You never climb a mountain alone. You don't go out on horseback alone. Is it? I know, but isn't that kind of the mindset?
It is.
That you should have at least a buddy come with you,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then give him an extra beer, and he can start your motor,
There you go.
and you don't have to fool with it.
Do the beer after once you've landed.
Well, of course, we haven't got that.
I will
sophisticated.
give him the promise of a beer.
So this is going to be kind of odd, but
Uh-oh.
is there any? Well, there's probably no future for
Dave
it.
saying it's odd. I'm like,
Yeah,
where's
but
he
there's
going?
no future for it because I know it makes too good a sense. But let's say I live in Alpine, where I do,
Yeah.
and let's say I work downtown.
Ah!
Would there ever be a way
Transportation?
that you could use that for daily transportation?
I wouldn't rely on it. Mainly because it's so weather dependent.
Yeah, on the
We're
way
in
home.
San Diego.
On the way
okay?
home, it's not the morning or right before sunset, which are
Right.
the ideal conditions. I've been listening.
Right.
See, I would do that if I don't have to deal with traffic and I could.
Let's get a zip line from Alpine to
Oh
the
my
beach.
Lord, I would never trust
Zip
that.
line, ladies. When we zip line, do we know what zip lining? Oh, we got
Throw
a
a
yes.
mic over.
We got
Throw a
an
mic.
affirmative.
Throw the mic over. Well, no, they got their own. They got their own. Who wants to
We
speak?
got an affirmative.
Who would? Well, okay. Would you do what your dad does if you to school every day?
Oh.
No.
At least we got a
Okay.
verbal. You wouldn't.
Would
do
you
that.
zip line to school every day?
Do you know what zip lining is?
Oh yeah, I would.
Ah, yeah. As soon as she figured out what that
So
was.
why
Oh,
would you zip line and not paraglide or moto? What are you? This?
Powered paragliding.
Thank you.
There you
I
go.
got it
You
now.
got it.
And what's short for it?
Paramotor.
Thank you.
Because there's a motor with zip line. You're strapped. To fine. There's
And
a
it's,
rope.
I bet the line on a zip line is like a track, whereas there's no track.
No track.
There's
No, no, we're
like
off
on
the-
a
we're
roller
off the
coaster,
rails.
there's a
How
track.
noisy is it?
It's probably like a leaf blower, at full
full
rev.
ring.
Some engines are quieter. Mine's probably one of the quieter motors. So that's another thing landowners sometimes have a concern about. Oh, it's gonna be noisy. It's usually only noisy for the first maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're gone. You can't even hear
Yeah.
us.
So the landowner, you're gone. I don't see you for an
Yeah,
hour.
2 hours. Yeah.
And that's who you have to really appease.
right.
is the
Oh,
landowner.
absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to
Because you
get
might be able to
anybody-
come back.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Does this
Yeah.
organization have? I'm just thinking out of the box. Does this organization have like a directory on the website?
Yeah, so-
like if you're going
Absolutely.
here, these are places we know you can go.
So USPPA.org does have a directory of other pilots in the area, and you can reach out.
Oh, gotcha.
And they also have instructors too. So if you're looking to get into it, there's instructors that have their information, and there's schools throughout the country that teach it. So you actually go to the school, and that's what I'd recommend. Is if you're getting into it, just take 2 weeks off from work, You go, and
2 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
I was not
a week and a half.
anticipating that.
Some people
much.
learn quicker than others.
Just go for 2 weeks. Okay?
Oh, that's why he told me 2
I want
weeks.
you
Yeah.
back. Okay, I want you back. So you go for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But no, and real
Sounds
training.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say it till you're blue in the face because at seat. Well, I guess you could call it seat time.
Yeah. Hang time.
Or would it be
airtime,
hang time?
Hang time.
Maybe
Yeah,
it's
you're,
hang
you're
time.
doing both. Hopefully.
Yeah, you're hanging
Yeah.
and sitting at the same time. All right, let's take a quick break. Who gets to be the one on KCBQ AM 1170?
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to YAK Radio with Dave Stall, FM 96.1 AM 1170. Who gets to do it?
The answer.
There you go. All right, hey, this segment's brought to you by... Who's it brought to you by? Yeah, we got them all. I'm not even going to say, San Diego Propane. What was I thinking?
Oh,
my
yeah,
goodness.
propane.
Propane.
This
Oh,
next
you know
storm.
what? He calls me up, and Dave says, "Hey, Dave, go check your meter." Okay, so I go walking out there. I walk back in. 4 pounds. He says, "We'll be there today." Went all the way to 4 pounds. You know what happens when it goes to zero?
Nothing.
No
I mean,
heat.
you got nothing.
no,
and
nothing.
we have
So-
another storm
So
coming.
who else do you know that gives you that kind of service?
That's very nice.
And he called me. I didn't call him. But it's San Diego Propane. The only downside, he only caters to the East County because he's just a family-owned operation.
Got a lot of
Prices
clients out there.
terrible. It's wonderful, actually. What am I saying? Terrible. SD-propane.com. SD-propane.com. And West Escondido Auto and Trans. 4 locations. Napa Auto Care, ASC certified, and AAA. Brian has been running these teams for long as I can remember. Even worked at one. WestAutomotiveGroup.com. WestAutomotiveGroup.com. All right. We got Matthew and the gang in the house.
Telling us all about the powered paraglider.
Yeah. So let's go to this young lady for a second.
Oh, she really
wait,
doesn't want to talk, David.
Yeah, well, I have to ask you a question. No, I can't ask you a question.
Her sister will take it, though.
All right, let's put it over to this lovely lady. So do you have any sports or do you have anything that you're involved in other than your dad?
Well, after school, on Wednesdays we do basketball. Me and my sister.
And she's a singer.
I also sing.
You do? Wow. That's awesome. What kind of music do you sing?
Like any music.
Okay, just
Like
so you-
Disney song shows or something? What does
All
she
kinds.
country
Off
western.
the radio?
Oh,
No, yeah,
like
off the radio.
graceful songs.
Oh, okay. All right.
She did the national anthem at our school.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Are you gonna watch American Idol tonight?
No.
You never know. You might be on it sometime.
So, to the listeners, can I give a Dave secret away
What's the Dave secret?
about American Idol? What do you text me?
Don't start with me.
Can I tell the listeners?
Yes, you can tell the listeners.
So, just about every other week, he'll be asking, "Are you watching?" And I know he's talking about American Idol.
Yeah.
And I will text back, "Are you crying?" And usually it's like, "Yeah, that last one got me."
Oh, it's just terrible. I have to eat dinner beforehand because I can't eat and cry at the same time.
So it's a singing competition that's on TV. That's why he brought it up.
Yeah. So if you've ever watched it, I mean, and it's just good. I like to see people perform and do well.
And they have often backstories
All right.
that
So you're
tug at the
not
heart.
talking. You're done.
No,
You're finished. You want your check.
she's a future ventriloquist.
She just wants her check and she's going to the store.
Yeah,
All right.
get some more
So
cowboy boots.
just a hobby, right? No aspirations to
No.
go any faster.
No.
Oh, you
it's
do
great.
too. You want that thing with the jets?
His wife's right
No.
next to him,
that
Dave.
that guy with the jetpack, and he has his
Oh,
arms.
there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, you know you want to.
Yeah,
You think,
yeah.
if I handed one to you, you'd strap it on.
Maybe try it.
I don't know about that one in the
Maybe try.
water. Where you
Yeah.
Nah, there's too many people. I see videos of them nose
Whoa,
first into
that
the deal.
doesn't seem steady.
So how long? What? It folds down to go into the back of a Mazda 3.
Yeah.
Right on
so
the back.
The
motor-
wing, the big wing.
the
that goes-
wings, just fits into a duffel bag. Basically a large duffel bag.
Does it break the? I mean, you have to break the.
There's
valves.
nothing rigid inside of it. It's all fabric.
So it's kind of like when you do your window shade. You know how those things open up a little
exactly.
more?
And then there's the front edge of the wing. It's has some ribs in it that are rigid, but everything else is
How cool is
and
that?
so the air goes inside it, and that's what keeps it rigid. Is when air is flowing inside of it.
So from a technology
Foil?
point of view, from the very basic, because it's got, say, from a commercial standpoint, not a one-off built into my garage. From a commercial standpoint, how many changes do you think they've made from then until today?
They've made several, and really, there's in the last 5 to 6 years, the technology and fabrics and everything else has really taken off quite a bit.
Is that for performance or longevity?
Mainly safety, performance, and somewhat longevity. You know, the one thing that does break these wings down a lot is sunlight. So the more hours you put on it, it breaks it down.
Does it have a breakdown? Do they have like a
lifespan?
Like a helmet?
Yeah.
Like a helmet, 6 years?
Yeah, about 2 to 3 years is about all you're going to get.
How much does a sale cost?
A brand new one now will cost you about $4,000. It's the most expensive piece of fabric.
I was in my head. My safety belts I have to replace every 2 years, but that's like $200. All right, so that's where my head was, and you had an extra zero, and you doubled it.
I didn't even look at her dead, and I could see the expression. Was that the first time you heard that price? Oh,
well, yeah.
So listeners, his wife is next to him. That's the first time she'd heard that number.
Yeah.
Safety. It's all in the name of safety.
Right.
Just safety belts?
Oh, you have it's a 5-point harness.
All right.
I'm pretty familiar with that.
Yeah.
Does that have a
familiar.
life expectancy?
Much longer.
I don't think he uses it as much
Well,
as
there's
I
no
use.
stress.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're sitting in it, and it isn't holding. You're actually sitting in a seat, so that's not what's
like a
holding your weight.
little bucket, like a little.
Nope.
little
No,
Yeah, you're sitting in. Yeah, I would, just like I'm sitting right now.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's interesting.
I love that sometimes people have a cart.
and we actually
That's-
flew with someone today that had a cart.
See, I think I'd go end over a 3-wheel. You know, one
Some
wheel.
have 3, and some have 4.
You
Yeah, but
definitely
still.
want smoother.
You know, it's not like you're laying it on the smoothest. I mean, you on a grassy knoll, let's say.
Yeah, grass field.
You're going to end up.
Catching,
Don't. I'd rather put my little.
It
tootsies
seems like
down.
your emergency landing would be definitely safer with foot.
It could be, absolutely, depending on how tight of an area it is.
Okay, so you see a parachutist come in,
Yeah,
and just before they touch the ground, they stop.
they stop.
Can you
Yeah.
do that with your thing?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. With the right wind and everything else, you can stop.
Just go.
And that's actually something to practice for safety is a spot landing. So pick a spot, try to land right on it because you might have to.
That
because-
sounds like a contest right
Yeah,
there.
they do those actually. Actually, at Salt and Sea, they do have a spot landing
See,
contest.
I knew they would. So, well, you know, it's when when you don't think about it. I mean, you
Right.
see you guys out flying
sure.
around,
Right.
But if you really dig into it, you know,
Right.
and I've had the blessing to do a lot of different things that I wouldn't normally do. That's why I bring up the point. Nobody knows what it's like until you get
Right.
behind the wheel. I used to watch offshore powerboat racing. I thought that was the most boring thing I ever seen until I got
Until you
in
get
one.
in it, yeah.
And it's like, okay, I figured that one out. That's really, really good. So,
I haven't done it, but it looks fun.
well, you like to do all kinds of crazy
See,
stuff.
well, there's more control than, say, the skydiving, and it sounds
Yes.
like there's more
And it's a
control
longer
than
ride.
paragliding.
And it's a longer ride. Thank
Much
you.
longer,
Yeah.
2 hours. Today was over 2 hours.
Yeah, skydiving's 4 to 5 minutes. You're done.
So you have any navigational skills, or just being able to look at the land and say,
Most people fly with a GPS. you
yeah,
know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
can get lost really easy.
Definitely more control than the hot air balloon. My gosh.
Oh, yeah.
No, there's
Crash
no, there's no-
landing.
there's
You
no-
that's how you land. You crash, basically.
That's how Mother Nature
Control
says.
crash.
That's how Mother Nature says you've been bad.
Yeah. Is there truth to the what I've heard is balloonists, they carry that bottle of bubbly in case you land on someone else's land. You pop it open and share it to just kind of
Well,
smooth over things. I
The
heard that
last
years ago.
time we used it, once we crashed, is we all had a glass of wine and a prayer
Well, yeah, definitely.
because we all landed. But yeah, I wonder. He doesn't carry a bottle.
Well, I was going to say if maybe his group might want to,
Think
have
about
a
it.
little
A little
hot
get-
pocket or something ready in case they have to
fifth-
land
a
in
fifth of
somebody.
something, yeah.
attach it to the exhaust.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, well, I'll tell you, I mean, if it puts a smile on your face, what do you do normally during the day?
I
Oh,
work
you'll
for the
like
Navy
this.
as a civilian. So
On
I'm a-
sub. Oh,
Oh.
are we allowed to say?
with submarines? Yeah. So I was a
Like, we're
submariner in my
gonna-
previous life.
Okay, so you
So
just stay
I was
with,
in the Navy, and then now I do it as a civilian. So
my wife works for SAIC.
okay, yeah,
Spay work.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
If I ask her what she does. She said she'd have to kill me. So I
there you
don't
go.
know. She's got some top secret. She's out in Point Loma someplace.
Okay.
But hey, thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much.
I stayed on the ground. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You know, do I want to go out in the water with 3,000 guys? Nah, I'll stay here.
You had your reasons for the Army.
I know. And they didn't. They told me a lie.
Yeah.
My government actually told me a lie.
Shocking.
So you would recommend this to pilots that maybe just can't afford to fly?
Yeah, and it's a
As
totally different experience. I mean,
Well, that's my point.
Yeah, it's so you see
But it's
so much
still
more
flying.
You're right. It's still flying, and it's
affordable.
You're not on the radio as much, and it's just it's just more free, really.
Do you have to be on the radio? I mean,
You don't only if you're flying near airports, which we don't. So if you're flying near an airport, it's recommended you carry a radio and talk
just
to
so
them.
they'll know.
Yeah,
who you are.
but yeah, it's if you're looking to get into that type of aviation, then yeah, it's a great way to go.
All right. So you are taking her to dinner tonight.
I was going to say, is there anyone you'd like to thank for this freedom? We were right there. It's just like,
and there's the
you go.
list of what she's going to request once we get out
do you
of
want
here.
to thank your wife for the freedom?
Yeah, and you
Absolutely.
can can thank Britney for.
No, I do
opening.
appreciate being that is one thing that you do need a good home network because
Yes.
it does take you away from home.
Yeah.
And early mornings and stuff like that. So
And
thank
you get to a point where it's like golf,
right.
basically. I mean, it's
Well,
just.
she always said, "Why don't you just do golf?" And I always have some sort of
Have
answer.
you
but-
ever golfed?
I always have some sort of answer. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
But the ball's too small is what I tell everybody. I mean, I'd go through thousands of them. I get it. Hey, happy wife, happy life
Yeah.
to a degree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're happy to be a happy husband.
Yes.
Well, and there's something to it. Racing, I'm a better person when I can get that out of my system. And then I can.
And her better half.
He's
at one
finally
time,
understanding.
At one time, hated motorsport.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
He
hate,
doesn't embrace it, but he's beginning to understand I'm a better version of myself.
because he likes listening to her talk.
No,
And he's learning from her
I'm a
slowly
better version if I
but
can get it
surely.
out
The
of
rumor
my
is I
system.
get grumpy when I don't fly.
See?
For
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the rumor.
Yeah, no,
You know what?
I feel your pain.
Keep that up. It'll work. Trust me. Just keep it
Well,
up.
don't start faking it.
No. All right, we got to go. But don't worry. Brittany's going to hang with me, and she'll be with us again on Racer Radio. Memo
We have Memo. Yeah, Gidley.
Gidley calling
Like,
in.
that's huge.
Yeah, Google that guy,
Yeah,
folks.
Google the next hour and see.
All right, this is YAK Radio, Dave Stall, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
Nice.
This program is sponsored by Dave Stall.